Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ivy League Analytical English. I'm Karen.
And I'm Wesley.
And today we have a translation exercise for you.
好，那我先把他所有的这个题目先念一遍哈，整段念一遍。他讲说，前几天呢，我打开冰箱，将一些牛奶倒进玻璃杯里，却发现喝起来酸酸的。那我检查一下日期，发现牛奶7天前就过期了。那我把剩下的牛奶丢掉，而且告诉自己以后吃任何食物之前呢，都要先检查保存期限。
Oh, he had yogurt, I guess.
也许呀。OK， 那我们来看看第一句哈。他讲到前几天呢，我打开冰箱将一些牛奶倒进玻璃杯里，却发现喝起来酸酸的。这个前几天呢，其实有几种说法哈。那如果说你把它看成 literally 是前几天，你强调是几天之前的话，那你可以说 a few days ago 可以前几天。那事实上另外一个前几天你可能可以说 the other day 那就是没有一个特别的不特定强调说这几天之前的意思。好 anyway 我这里我就选一个，我选说 a few days ago 然后呢我打开冰箱 I opened the fridge 这个 refrigerator尤其是英式英文常常简称为 fridge
美式也很常用，
美式也很常用OK 好，所以呢 a few days ago I opened the fridge and 然后倒了一些牛奶，用动词是 pour P-O-U-R 加个 E-D and poured some milk into a glass 倒进了一个玻璃杯里面。好，那英文里面到这里其实你已经可以断句了因为中文里面虽然说接下来下面继续讲说却发现喝起来酸酸的，但是其实把牛奶倒进玻璃杯跟喝起来酸酸的这两个动作之间，其实你可以把它用句子隔开来。所以我的第一句我就写到 poured some milk into a glass 就解决了那 glass 它当玻璃的时候是不可数，可是当玻璃杯的时候你也可以数的这里用 glass 比较好一点，因为 cup 比较不是那么合适
It sounds like it's for a baby.If
you use a cup?
Right, a cup of milk. It sounds like it's for a baby. We have something called a sippy cup. Sip 是匣，就是喝小口它上面有个嘴，那小孩子可以放进嘴巴里We call it a sippy cup. So if you say a cup of milk, the first thing I think of is a cup with 2 handles on it for little babies.
OK 好，所以这里用 cup 是不合适的。好，然后呢，你可以说却发现喝起来酸酸的那这句话呢，其实在英文里面我就决定这样处理把它解释一下，因为其实你要先喝才会觉得喝起来酸酸的。中文可以说喝起来酸酸的，英文也可以说 tasted sour， 但是放在这里呢，好像在我的句型里面放不进，不好放，所以我就把它翻成说 When I took a sip took a sip 就是喝一点点浅尝一口，那个 sip 就是 S-I-P
Just like in the sippy cup I was talking about S-I-P-P-Y sippy cup
Yeah 所以呢 When I took a sip however the milk tasted sour 就是我尝起来酸酸的。
Okay, I would like to hear both sentences again.
Okay, a few days ago I opened the fridge and poured some milk into a glass. When I took a sip however the milk tasted sour.
Okay, that's one way of doing it. I have a slightly different approach. The other day, I opened the refrigerator and poured myself a glass of milk. New sentence, just like Wesley. But when I drank it, I found that it had a sour taste. Listen to it one more time, and then we'll compare the two. The other day, I opened the refrigerator and poured myself a glass of milk. But when I drank it, I found that it had a sour taste.Poured myself a glass of milk 这个句型蛮常用的，
而且是比较 idiomatic 的因为我的句子我写的 poured some milk into a glass 其实不清楚
It's not so clear who it's for.
对，你好，可能是倒一杯牛奶，也许是给别人喝，也许是自己喝，但是如果你是 poured myself a glass of milk 那就很清楚，就是我倒了一杯牛奶给自己喝的。
You're right about that, but you know, your version makes me think that something's coming.That probably is not so good. Your version gives me the feeling that something's probably going to go wrong.
OK.
So in a way, it's sort of foreshadowing.
因为我这样的写法，这个通常来讲，我们好像故意不跟你讲清楚所以有一点点好像是 something is coming， 有点悬疑那种感觉。
Right, foreshadowing. What is that?
就是前面的暗示就是有一点埋伏笔啦。
伏笔 exactly, right. Okay, so let's compare the two. First of all, instead of a few days ago, the other day. That just means sometime in the very recent past. 这个很常用，这个可以背起来。The other day, I opened the refrigerator. Fridge 跟 refrigerator 都可以。refrigerator 稍微正式一点。 poured myself a glass of milk. I poured myself a glass of soda. Oh, not soda. Usually that won't usually be in a pitcher. But juice we could use. I poured myself a glass of juice. 只要是放在一个壶里面或者盒子里面啊，倒给自己喝的。I poured myself 什么东西？ I poured myself a cup of coffee and then I heated it in the microwave. That's what I did this morning.
所以我给自己倒了一杯咖啡，然后放到微波里面把它加热。
All right. Yeah. And the second part, but when I drank it, I found that it had a sour taste. It tasted sour, that's fine. 它有一种酸味. This is more literal. I found that it had a sour taste.
好，那这两个其实都可以。你可以说 it tasted sour， 或者是 it had a sour taste。好，那感觉起来哪一个比较酸？差不多。
Yeah, it's just a different way of saying it.
Yeah.
Let's look at the translation in our magazine for a third version. The other day, I opened the refrigerator and poured some milk into a glass, only to find that it tasted sour. I really like this structure, only to find that. It means that I had the intention of drinking some milk and then going to do something else, but as soon as I drank it, I found that something else happened, only to find that something not so good happened.
好，这 only to find that 表示一个事情它的结果跟你的预期是不一样的。好，所以这里我也很喜欢，因为我觉得他这样子把这前后两个地方连在一起的，他靠这个 only to find that。好，那像我刚刚我就没有，当我没有想到这 only to find that， 所以我就必须要用两个句子来写，先讲说我倒了牛奶，再讲说 when I took a sip， 然后再如何如何如何。但他这里 only to find that 就把两个东西结合在一起了。
So Wesley used however, I used but.They used only to find. They all have a similar function.
对，所以 only to find 各位就从这里了解到，它其实有那种 however 的意思，就是things don't 或者 didn't turn out as you expected.
Exactly.
Yeah. 好，然后我们再看看下面这一句哈，他说我检查日期啊，发现牛奶7天前就过期了啊。那检查日期啊，我就直接写 I checked the 那日期。我用 dates 用复数，这个地方用单数还是复数，我稍微想了一下，后来觉得复数比较好，因为通常来讲，像我在查日期的话，我先看它的什么时候过期，然后我再看看今天几号，所以你查的至少是2个日期。
And also 什么时候制造的？
Oh,
Because
yeah.
often they give you 2 dates, when it was produced and when it should be consumed before.
对，然后你可能会看到今天的日期，所以至少是两个到3个之间的日期，所以最好是用复数啊。所以 I checked the dates and saw 就看到了啊，了解到这个发现哈，用 saw 就可以了，因为你看日期嘛，就发现到看到了，然后呢已经过期了，过期7天前就过期了。过期是在你检查日期之前所发生的事情，你检查日期已经是过去式了，所以过去的过去最好是用过去完成式。所以呢，我就写说 I checked the dates and saw it had expired 过期啊，expired 就是过期的动词。然后呢，7天前 7 days 这里要注意，不能讲 ago。啊，因为你讲 7 days ago， 感觉起来是从今天往前算，所以各位记得 ago 是表示今天以前多久多久是 ago， 但是我现在这里不是从今天算，我是从我查看的那一天往前算7天，所以从过去再往前算几天，那个英文要用 before， 不能用 ago， 所以呢要讲 7 days before。好，那我整句话我再念一次 I checked the dates and saw it had expired 7 days before.
Okay.My translation is, after checking its freshness dates, I discovered or saw that the milk had expired 7 days. We could say ago, and I'll explain it in a minute. Wesley said we can't, but there is one way in which we could use it. To be a little stricter with ourselves, we could say earlier, expired 7 days earlier. Or you could say a week ago, a week earlier. I'll read the whole thing more smoothly. After checking its freshness dates,I discovered that the milk had expired 7 days earlier.
那这个地方呢，各位看到那个 freshness dates 啊，这个可以学一下，就是它的有效期，其实你可以用 freshness dates，
它的新鲜的日子，
它新鲜的日子哈。然后呢 ，I discovered 或者 I saw 都可以哈，我发现到这个牛奶的7天前就已经这个过期了。好，那刚 Carol 老师说 ago 有可能在这里其实可以这样用啊。
Now why? It's because when we're telling the story, it's as though we are right in the present, as though this thing that happened in the past is happening right now. We often do that when telling stories. So I think, at least colloquially, we would often say ago. It had expired 7 days ago. 就是以当时的角度来看是 ago 的感觉。Earlier, more strictly speaking, is better, but ago would probably also be used quite often.
好，那这个地方其实就是这个所谓的 formal grammar 哈，正式的文法跟实际上使用的一个差别。好，那正式的文法呢，这个过去这个之前要用 before， 不能用 ago，
或者 earlier 也可以
，earlier 也可以。但是像 Karen 老师讲的，在我们这里我们在讲一个故事啊，因为我们在讲一个故事，所以感觉起来好像这事情跟现在距离还蛮近的啊。虽然我们用的是过去式，可是跟现在距离好像还感觉是蛮近的，心理上距离还蛮近的。
对，
所以这种 ago 好，在这个有的时候我们还是可以接受可以用的。
对，好像你叙述的事情就在眼前一样。
Yeah.
Okay, but it's just a feeling. It is not strictly correct. All right, let's look at the translation in our magazine. I checked the date and realized the milk had expired 7 days earlier.
好，那这个地方他用单数也没有问题，因为你可能就算他给你好几个日期，你只看那个，
你是针对那一个，
你是针对那个过期的日期看，而且你非常知道今天几月几号，所以一看就知道，哎呀，过期了，糟糕了。Yeah.
No wonder I got yogurt.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go on to our last sentence in this section.
好，下面我把剩下的牛奶丢掉，而且告诉自己，以后吃任何食物之前都要先检查保存日期。好，那把剩下的牛奶丢掉，丢掉可以用 threw out。So I threw out the rest of the milk， 就是剩下的牛奶。然后呢，我告诉自己 I told myself， 那这个 I 当然就不用讲了。你看 I threw out the rest of the milk and told myself。
而且注意那个 myself 不要念得太重，不是 I told myself， 更不是 I told myself， That's never correct。除非非常非常的强调，我们那个 myself, yourself 等等都不会放重音。So I told myself。
好，所以呢，这个 I told myself 如何呢 ？I would， 我们看到后面呢，他说告诉自己以后吃任何食物之前都要检查保存期限。那这里的重点其实是要检查保存期限。然后呢，吃任何食物之前，这个是个副词子句，我们放后面。所以我先讲检查保存期限啊。所以呢 ，I told myself I would check the expiration date 啊，就是我检查保存期限。然后呢，吃任何食物之前 before。然后呢 ，eating 这个地方当然可以讲 I eat， 可是我不要再讲 I 了，我就把它变成分词 before eating。然后呢，任何食物啊，你可以强调 any food， 可是不需要，因为事实上这就是你直接用 anything 就好了，所以 before eating anything 就可以了。
Okay, let's hear it again.
Okay, 好 ，I threw out the rest of the milk and told myself I would check the expiration date before eating anything.
Okay. Or, yeah, I guess in this case you could also stress it, eating anything. 任何东西，如果你真的要强调，也可以放重音。All right, here's my translation. I dumped the remaining milk into the sink, then told myself that from then on I would always check the expiration date before eating anything. Once more, I dumped the remaining milk into the sink,then told myself that from then on, I would always check the expiration date before eating anything. And to that, I would add, always check the expiration date before buying anything.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of us, when we're in a hurry, it takes a lot of time to try and find where the expiration date is because it's different on every product. But you really should check, especially with milk. And there's one other thing I want to mention is Wesley said throughout. We also have the phrasal verb to throw away.And the reason we don't use it here is because with throw away, I think of a wastebasket. For example, I have a wrapper here. I'm eating something. I take the wrapper off. I'm going to throw the wrapper away. 感觉好像是丢进垃圾桶里面。But to throw out, 它的去向我们就不清楚了。
OK， 好，所以这用 throughout 是比较好一点啊。那同时 Karen 老师他用的那个动词蛮好玩的哈，我蛮喜欢，就 dump 就是丢掉。
倾倒，
倾倒啊！这个除了丢食物之外，你也可以丢男女朋友，还 dump the girl， 还或者 dump the boy
again
好，那这个另外呢 ，into the sink 这个也很好。你通常牛奶哈，你如果不新鲜的话，你不是整罐连牛奶丢到垃圾桶或怎么样，拿去回收，那是错误的，很糟糕。你要把你倒空，你把牛奶倒到水槽里面，所以这是很好的一个示范啊。那同时呢，各位注意到那个片语 from then on 啊 ，from then on 就从那个时候开始，那个 on 有持续的意思，就从那个时候开始。我往下持续，我都要如何如何，所以常常都表示从什么时候开始就怎么样的意思。
You know, actually, there's a better thing you could do with that milk. If you have collection of pig slop or kitchen waste, you can dump it there because that way you'll give it to the pigs to eat and it won't go completely to waste. Let's look at the translation in our magazine. I threw the rest of the milk away and told myself to always check the expiration date before eating any food in the future. Now, like I said, I prefer to say throughout if it's a liquid, but threw away is also correct.
然后呢，当然你可以说 before eating any food 啊，那强调任何食物都可以啊。但是我觉得其实 eating anything 也很好，因为 anything 你吃那就表示它这种食物咯。
Okay, let's listen to it one more time. I threw the rest of the milk away and told myself to always check the expiration date before eating any food in the future. That is it for today. Please tune in next time. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.